Hello and welcome to Bounding into Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at Bounding into Comics. And today I got a story about Superman and Lois writer Nadria Tucker revealing that the CW did not renew her contract. So Tucker is a self-described SJW. If you look at her Twitter profile here, it says writer, SJW, chaotician, chosen one, four-eyed raven, first chair flute. And so she has announced on Twitter that the CW did not renew her contract because they found her, quote, outline and draft subpar for the Superman and Lois show. So Tucker wrote on Twitter, quote, some personal news. Wednesday, I got word that my contract on Superman and Lois won't be extended. My service is no longer needed. My outline and draft subpar. Obviously, I disagree with that last bit. LOL. She then went on to claim a number of her complaints about the show had been ignored for months. She said this after months of flagging hashtag #MeToo jokes in dialogue of me defending the Bechdel test, of me fighting to ensure the only black faces on screen aren't villains, of me pitching stories for female characters. There's one in the title of the series that went ignored. She then added, if I sound bitter, it's because this one stings. Tucker then concluded, I've been assured by colleagues that I was great in the room, so I know I'm not nuts. I debated whether to post this, but my own mental well-being demands that I do. The only way shit changes is to expose it. Tucker's comments about Superman and Lois are not out of the ordinary. Back in 2019, Tucker took issue with a photograph of a writer's room from David Simon. For those unfamiliar with Simon, he is the creator of The Wire. He also created Trim and the Generation Kill miniseries. So back in 2019, he tweeted, writer's room, day one of a new project. Too many smiles. Notepad's empty. We shall address these affronts promptly. And then you can see the photo. It's got, 7 people here in the photo. In response to a user calling for Simon to hire more women, he wrote, no, not for this room. The expertise gathered for this content is precise. Other contemporaneous rooms in prep or underway for BD have more women than men, but thanks for the critique. Tucker responded to this comment from Simon saying, is the expertise in being a white dude? Simon would respond saying, it's certainly not in being snide. 5 are native Baltimoreans, 1 policed the city for 2 decades, 1 is the lead reporter who covered the specific Baltimore issue, 1 lived it in the neighborhood, 1 wrote dozens of novels on these themes, 4 produced The Wire. Simon then added, sometimes just counting bodies on your fingers isn't the way to optimize insight or judge much of anything that matters. User Terry Kopp would respond saying, no, representation matters. Are you saying you couldn't find any other women or POC from Baltimore or who live there or who had expertise in the subject matter? What about the expertise of actually being female? Tucker showed her complete agreement with that tweet, saying, that's what he's saying. Worse, he's ignoring our criticisms and doubling down. Simon, not having any of it, responded saying, tripling down. I know this room. I know my other rooms. Contemporaneous, which are doing development with more women than men because that content argues for it. So Tucker has also made it clear she is against police departments across the United States of America. She shared her support for Black Artists for Freedom back in June. If you go to the Black Artists for Freedom website, their #1 cause is for, quote, cultural institutions to break ties with the police. In fact, the organization calls for people to, quote, publicly condemn the institution of police as a violent force that exists to further class divisions and capitalistic exploitation which harm our communities. They add that, quote, this is a first and clear step that cultural institutions must take toward the broader call to defund the police nationwide. The organization also wants cultural institutions to, quote, learn the history of systemic racism, take concrete and deliberate steps to identify and eliminate anti-black bias, cultivate curiosity about black culture, recognize and respect our communities, our languages, and our religions. Finally, they also want cultural institutions to, quote, imagine black freedom. They elaborate on that saying, quote, we demand freedom not solely in our persons, our black bodies, our black lives, but also in our work. We refuse to be pitted against each other or to be measured by a yardstick of blackness chosen by others. We demand the freedom to be black however we wish to be, and to disregard what dominant institutions have deemed marketable, legible, palatable, or relatable to audiences that have been artificially narrowed in advance. So I've talked about this quite a bit before. People like Nadria Tucker, who is a self-described SJW, they can't be creative because they're so obsessed with identity politics, and that appears to be the case here. And what's interesting is that she says that her contract was not renewed because her outline and draft were subpar, but then she tries to go on and defend herself by saying that her colleagues assured that she was great in the room. It's unclear if she's talking about her personality or her actual recommendations for story. My opinion is when usually people are saying they're great in the room, it's not about their actual story recommendations, it's about their personality. And when you have someone like this who is literally going to take you take any kind of slight, it appears, to Twitter, you probably wouldn't be honest with that type of person. You just probably wouldn't tell them what was really on your mind. I am kind of surprised that the CW would let someone like this go. That seems to be kind of their MO. They're doubling down with Batwoman, it appears, on the identity politics. It appears that they're going to be doing that in the Green Lantern show. Although that's not technically the CW, it's still Berlanti who produces all of those. So it looks like they're doubling down all this stuff. So the fact that they would not renew this person because of some kind of perceived lack of being a quote-unquote progressive, that doesn't really fit for what we've seen out of their behavior in the past. So it's probably that her outline and draft were even worse than what we've come to expect from the CW and Arrowverse in the past couple years. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention. Let me know what you think. Are you surprised that someone like Nadria Tucker would not have her contract renewed for the upcoming Superman and Lois show? And do you think this might portend that Superman and Lois might be a little bit better than what we've seen from the recent Arrowverse outings? My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounding into Comics. I'll have another video for you tomorrow.